it through in the first place, locking it in and keeping those repeat entries going. Long kick. Good punching effort there from the Queenslanders. Roving, intercepting there was Lasowski Hay for Vic Country. Good running handball, just around the ankles though, unfortunately. Cleaned up there by Smith. Now Queensland with the ascendancy there, dropping the mark there. Very slippery conditions, as we say. It has been drizzling quite heavily, even though the ground does drain beautifully here. And that's kicked into the back of a Queensland player in Muir. She's feeling the effects of that as the ball ricochets over the boundary line. Right half forward for Vic Country once again. They're leading by a couple of goals after 9.5 minutes of the first term.
And there was a bit of a breeze earlier too, going down towards that southern end, we should mention. Though not as prominent as what it was prior to the bounce. As we throw the ball in, Vic Country attacking again. Bounces short of Karras. But she has numbers to use. High ball inside 50. Comes off hands again. Roving it, paddling it. Wat Farah. It's just scooped out the way of Country. Brett, her kick smothered. And again, they're just trying to work it by hand away from the contest. Salitas under pressure. Wat Farah goes back in after it. Puts the handball out. White under pressure. Got dispossessed. And that'll be holding the footy. Free kick to go the way of Vic Country. They've moved it up their attacking end quite well. Loading up here is Maloney. Going to the hot spot. Barber flew off the ground. Salitas whacks it through for a minor score. Vic Country 2-1-13. Queensland yet to score. We've gone 10.5 minutes in the opening term. Round 2 action of the Under-18 AFLW Championships.
Yeah, that's a very good kick out, and it comes to Talia Hickey. She's at right half back for the Maroons, and it's a kick down the wing. Oh, good juggling effort there. It was Vernon. Vic Country controlling it. Vernon, the handball off to Wood. That's a delightful kick in these conditions from Wood. Finds Tiana Smith, who's doing very well. That's a long kick. Punched away from Postlethwaite. She's going to get back in there. Hooks it around the body. Once again. Oh, that's a very physical clash there from Farquharson, and Vic Country girls just let her know that it was reasonably well. No malice in it, just a very, very good hip and shoulder. Good clash.
I think it was Tiana Smith that was a little worse for wear coming off the contest, and she's come straight to the bench, but doesn't look too bad as Queensland hack it forward again through the fingers of Shepherd. And then Vic Country, just with numbers, able to apply the pressure to cause another stoppage. I love this congested footy situation. And they've often got numbers to spread, particularly in this opening term. Queensland through Hampson, though, will go towards half forward. Juggling attempt didn't come off. McDonald had it momentarily for Vic Country. They're now released through McAvoy. Had a fair bit of the footy. Another big contest, and a little worse for wear is Hampson for Queensland. Ball back on the deck at half forward for them. Vic Country with numbers. Try to shark it away. Dawes almost had it cut off. She's under pressure now. Geez, it's a hot footy. Intensity's high. High ball towards centre half forward. Bouncing ball. Favours nobody. Vic Country able to get a releasing kick.
Well, it's released just for a little while. Annie Muir's there. Right on the logo as we see Hampson coming up after that clash. Ball centred into the circles. Once again, Queensland trying to move the ball across the ground. Tani White, just a little chip forward. It's coming back now. Heslop found Postlethwaite. Want to get her moving, do the Queenslanders. Good smothering effort there from McDonald. The ball in defence for Vic Country, and they handball their way out of it beautifully. Lovely weighted kick and a good strong mark. That's taken there by Sophie Molan. Really good mark. They play on again. Good skills in these conditions. Salitas, she goes back for a double effort. Well done there. Maloney picked up there for Queensland by Zanka Close. Can they get out of here? Once again, the smothering effort. Vic Country girls really doing it hard in and around the clinches. Maloney, handball off now to McDonald. On the left foot. That's a good kick too. It's going to go over the head and bounce into the path of the leading Victorian Country player. That was Notman, couldn't quite control it. Can Queensland get out of here? They might be able to. It's in the hands of Watson at the moment.
Who kicks it into dangerous territory. You'd be nervous here if you're a Queenslander. Footsteps from Vic Country. Oh, they've just lost it again. Hammond's under all sorts of pressure. Finally gets a kick. Bobbles off the chest of Hickey. Now in the hands of Vic Country. Maloney caught. Holding the footy. Free kick. And Queensland able to regain some composure as they'll look to go straight up the corridor. Searching for Tarleton. Came off hands. Queensland with numbers. Just hack it forward again. Vacant space. Bounced awkwardly. Wood was able to mop up for Vic Country. Did well. Knows the conditions. Didn't want to bounce the footy. Gets it to Gardner, centre wing, broadcast side. High ball, inboard, under pressure. Dawes took it very well. Now gets Wat Farrer on the half-back flank.
And back to Dawes, and then she spears a ball. Good pass from Arwang. That's better from the Queensland side. Arwang now tries to measure a little left foot pass. They get in each other's way there, the Queenslanders. Vic Country now with the ascendancy. Good handball there from Shannon to Shepherd. She scrubs it forward. Cut off there by Wat Farrer again. It's good defence. She's been very heavily involved in defence, and that's the end of the first quarter. And it's a good one for Vic Country as well. 2-1-13 to Queensland yet to score. And it's all through Olivia Barber from the Murray Bushrangers, who's kicked the first 2 goals of the game. They went through for a rush behind as well, but really good start for the Vic Country side. Queensland came back in the second part of that quarter.
Yeah, they definitely worked their way into it, but Vic Country just seemed to have the better spread on the outside of the contest. They're hunting the footy, they're able to fly the handball out, whereas Queensland are just lacking that little bit of class and composure at the moment around the footy. They started to get better, as you mentioned, late stages of that first quarter, but they'll be disappointed not to get a score on the board early.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Vic Country girls, I think, just handling these slippery conditions a little bit better. Now, mind you, it's probably slightly different than conditions in Vic Country where you might get slippery conditions, but it's still a bit humid here on the Gold Coast as well, which adds... Well, it's a bit of a double bonus if you like slippery conditions, I suppose. So, but they've really handled those well, and close quarters. Their work has been quite good physically, and getting the skill-wise, getting the hands out quickly as well. Yeah,
they've definitely looked sharper. They've been more precise with their kicks too. They've been a little smarter and had more game awareness with ball in hand. And just looking down the list, Sophie Molan was prominent inside 50. Thought Maggie Karras was doing well in the ruck for them as well. On the other side of the equation, Isabel Dawes got a fair bit of the footy. Wat Farrer, when she was on halfback, would get a bit of it, but again, just the decision-making wasn't quite there at times, although it got better late stages of the final term, in the first term, I should say. Lily Postlethwaite got a little bit of the footy, but again, I just think that the whole team was just a little bit flat early on, and it's taken them a while to get into the game.
Yeah, I love the way the Victorian countryside has rebounded from halfback as well. They've denied Queensland the chance to move inside the forward 50, but when they do get the ball, they try to get it out and run and spread, and that's been very effective in making sure the ball gets back down inside their attacking 50 as well.
Yeah, just move the ball forward. Not at all costs, but look for the diagonal, be a little more strategic, which is one of the common themes in the under-18 girls competition this season, is that skill and game awareness and just being that little more strategic in terms of how to set up play is definitely strengthening. And as you said, Vic Country a little more superior at the moment.
And having a look at a couple of the girls as well, in Vic Country there, Molly McDonald, number 13, and Isabella Shannon, both signed to St Kilda as well, both Dandenong Stingrays products, so they're already pre-signed with St Kilda for the next AFLW season. Over on the Queensland side, Wat Farrer, who's been very good so far today, also was very good in round 1 versus WA. She's already pre-signed to the Gold Coast, as is... who else is it? It is Ellie Hampson, of course, who copped that big knock as well. She's already pre-signed to the Gold Coast, as well as Charlotte Hammond. So there's some future AFLW stars already running around here, and don't worry, there's a hell of a lot more to come.
And it'd be a little, I'm assuming anyway, a different mindset for those players, because unlike the rest of their teammates who are all vying for a draft spot come the end of the season, they already know what their future holds. They're on an AFLW list already, so potentially they might be deployed in positions that aren't their normal ones to test their versatility, and because they won't be playing their primary position, I'm assuming, when they get into the AFLW competition early next year. So looking forward to seeing how they unfold, not only today but also on Wednesday over at Southport, and then Friday too, action out at Bond University to round out a big week up here on the Gold Coast.
Looking forward to seeing how Lily Postlethwaite for Queensland responds after the first. Well, there you go. A little bit of cheering going on. We like that as well. But Lily Postlethwaite's already, well, basically she's been starring with the Lions in the QW Winter Series as well, and very good possibilities for her with the Brisbane Lions. She started playing footy when she was only 12 years old, so must be tired by now, that's the old joke. But she's doing very well. So the ladies break from their huddles, very vocal as well, as the drizzle is sort of cleared here, which is kind of nice. And as I've said before, the ground here at Metricon really drains beautifully. So hopefully the conditions will stay dry, and we'll get a good example of the skills on show from both sets of sides here. Michael Price and Matthew Cox calling all of your action for the NAB AFLW Under 18 Championships. And this is round 2, Queensland versus Vic Country, and we'll start the second quarter very shortly.
Vic Country holding sway at the moment, 2-1-13. Queensland yet to impact the scoreboard as we get underway for the second term here at Metricon Stadium. Tap one down by Hickey for Queensland. Straight into a pack. Just as Vic Country were coming away with it, the umpire blew his whistle and said, "Give it to me, I'll put it up again." One down again by Hickey. Just pushed away from the contest for Queensland, who are retreating the wrong way and have put it into a dangerous location here for Vic Country, who swarm on Levy in the defensive 50 after they just got a little bit confused, Queensland.
There's the ball up. Postlethwaite can't quite take it away. Hickey at ground level. Now the handball. That's nicely weighted outside there. Let's see how this works out. It's going to be picked up there by Ah Wang, but she couldn't quite handle it. It was well done in the end by Gardner. Now Vic Country going forward. Coming out and meeting the ball full on was Watson. Couldn't control it. Towed off the deck there by Solitas. Now Vic Country with another chance at half forward. Solitas goes back in. Queensland defence under enormous pressure. Solitas for her third involvement. Kicks it to the top of the square. It was just good persistence by the young player, and Renee Solitas just kept going and going and going. That's what you've got to do in these conditions, but it's another behind Vic Country. 2-2-14, Queensland yet to score.
And she'd be used to it, Solitas, hailing from the GWV Rebels, based out of Ballarat back in Victoria. As the ball is no good for Queensland, taking the mark. Molly McDonald just outside attacking 50. Her kick inboard is good. Simmons takes the mark on a tight angle. We're about 30 metres from goal. She looks pretty confident, though, the way she's going back.
Absolutely. She just, well, she hasn't burned any of her teammates, but she just went straight back and lined them up. And once again, good skills from the Vic Country side.
So Simmons, slow and steady approach, spins the Sherrin in her hands. Let's fly with a left foot kick, just a little narrow and a minor score. 2-3-15, Vic Country leading Queensland. Still yet to score, 2.5 minutes gone in this second term.
Let's see what happens here. Second ball on the field removed. Now Queensland play on. It's coming out side defensive 50 for them. Arwang couldn't control it. Once again, Gardner. Picked up there and hacked in there by Notman. Bounces again for Queensland. Just putting enough pressure on there. That was really well done by Barber. Affected the kick and it fell into the hands of Tyann Smith. Long kick towards the goal square. At the back of the pack. Picked up there. Solitas wheels around and kicks a beauty. She just read it well. Controlled it and then had the presence of mind just to wheel around onto her right foot. Really skillful goal We just commented about how much she would love the conditions for playing with the GWV Rebels around Ballarat. She's done very well here for the third goal for the Vic Country side.
Kicked 4 goals in her 9 games in the 2019 NAB League Girls. Also averaged 7 disposals and laid 2 tackles. And looking dangerous up forward. I think she's got a goal, 2 behinds so far today.
I've got her down for 1-1, but I'll give her the other one.
She's been very prominent inside 50.
I'll trust your scoring abilities.
Back in the middle for Queensland. They get the clearance. Long ball inside 50. It's all Vic Country, though, and Millie Brown. That's a name to remember. She was prominent the other week down at Avalon Airport Oval in Werribee when Vic Country took on Vic Metro. Ball just outside 50. Shannon running onto it under pressure. Going in over the top is Darcy. Squeezed out here for Postlethwaite up against the boundary line. Clever kick inboard. Beats all comers, though. Squirts out the back. Wood just soccers it. And puts it over the boundary line and out of play. We'll throw it in for Queensland. Back inside attacking 50, and they really need to score here.
Well, they've got one of the rare chances at the moment. Need to take that chance to get themselves a little bit of momentum. Vic Country taking away all of their space at the moment. In the ruck there, Smith for Queensland. Gets it down. Vic Country first to the ball. Yet again, though, not controlled. Postlethwaite for Queensland kicks it towards the pocket. It bounces over the head of Tarleton and through for the first score of the day for the Queensland. It's 3-3, 21 to Vic Country and 1 behind to Queensland after 5 minutes of this second term.
And they just need to lock it in here, Queensland. Dangerous ball floats out the back. Favours Vic Country, or a bit of holding going on. And the free kick will go the way of Vic Country. I think it's Molly McDonald out there with ball in hand. She goes wide to the outer wing. Not the greatest of kicks. Muir under pressure, happy to see the ball over the boundary line and out of play.
So again, it's a bit of a swirly breeze here today. It is facing your right of screen here, the southern end. It is favouring that end, but swirling around the ground, so making conditions a little difficult for both sides. The ruck contest now. Notman and Vic Country trying to extricate the ball on hands and knees there. Shannon can't quite get it out. Now, as a player there tackled by Postlethwaite, who's without the ball, it was actually Lucy McAvoy. She will get the free kick. Almost went the wrong way. Decided I'll go back and do it over this one. So McAvoy just chipping forward. Overcooked the kick a bit. Favours the Queensland defence. Good handball. The second one not so good. Goes back inside attacking 50 for Vic Country. Good defence from Queensland now. And that's really well played there by Hampson. She just had a little bit of time and utilised that time beautifully. Well picked up there by Gregory. Tries to kick it around the corner. Now they'll go to pick it up. Vella couldn't quite with the one arm. Beautifully done there by Chapman. Got it out. Comes back to Vella. Nice tackle from Darcy. Ball loose now. Hampson again. She's very good around balance. Around the stoppages is Hampson. Postlethwaite in the middle, though.
Yeah, good mark by Postlethwaite. Puts it towards centre half forward. Came off the hands of Ella, who keeps going, gets brought down. Umpire says play on. Good tackle laid on by Hammonds. Ball spills free. Players sliding everywhere at the moment. Finally, the whistle is blown, and we'll get a ball up inside the centre square. 20-point lead the way of Vic Country. They've had most of the momentum in this opening half of footy as they surge forward again. High ball is good. Mark taken just outside 50 here is Notman. Waits for a target. Decides to just chip it short. Smith under pressure. Puts the handball. Dangerous spot. And just offline there for Maloney. Another minor score. They've had opportunities to increase their lead, Vic Country. Just a little inaccurate.
So the ball to be brought back in by Serene Watson for Queensland. Just a little pass into the pocket. Finds a teammate in O'Grady. Touched off the mark, so It's a dangerous spot for Queensland. Nicely picked up by Wood. Got the handball away. It was just a little bit errant though. Heslop, she picked it up, kicked it towards the outer wing. Towed off the deck by Darcy. Going in for the second effort there and getting the ball back for Vic Country. Doing well was Douglas. Now they'll get it through handballs. This is good stuff. Oh, the handball just a little bit wide of the intended target. Gave Queensland the opportunity, Farquharson, but she couldn't get her foot to ball. It was a really good slinging type of tackle, not in the illegal style. Well done there by Brown.
High ball for Vic Country in the Notman direction again. Just went over her head. Queensland able to repel. Puts it into space here for Postlethwaite, but she's got a race on her hammer. Smith chasing it. Gets in front, paddles it to the advantage of McDonald. She loses control of it. Moore has an opportunity inside 50 for Queensland. Dribbling ball. Was there a trip? No, says the umpire. Play on. It's in dispute. At the bottom of the contest is Brooke Vernon. It's not coming out. Now it does. Queensland's favour. Handball backwards to Muir. Inside 50, ordinary kick off the boot. One bounce over the boundary line, out of play.
Yeah, I think the eyes lit up like dinner plates there. She thought, I've got to bang this through from 45. Just gave it a little bit too much, and of course, that hooked the ball towards the boundary line. It's 21 points the margin. Vic Country doing it beautifully. 9.5 gone, second term. We get a throw in here in the left forward pocket for Queensland, desperately in search of a goal. Ball spills. That's really well rowed by Darcy. Has a snap, but once again it's wide. Over the boundary line. We'll do it all again from the same spot.
Had the right intentions again for Queensland. At least they're keeping it inside 50. 5 minutes remaining in the first half of footy here at Metricon Stadium. First game of a big week of action here for the 2019 NAB AFLW Under 18 Championships as we get another stoppage inside 50. Heslop laying on the tackle that time for Queensland. Ball up. Winning the tap down, Karras. It's on the deck. Country fighting for it. Are able to get the quick away over the head of Smith. Bounced awkwardly for everyone. Smith endeavouring hard. Merging with it now, Wood. The kick in the Notman direction. She takes it on the half volley. Ambles to Maloney, who puts it towards half forward. Good body work there at half forward from Barbara. She's kicked 2 goals already. Tries to extract the footy. Does, but's caught. Ball spills free. Queensland's favour. Plenty of pressure being applied. Simmons. She's... well... I thought it might have gone the other way. That's the umpire's given her the free kick, Isabella Simmons.
Yeah, it was one of those 50-50 calls, but Isabella Simmons got the favourable one. Oh, sold the big dummy too. How about that? Went on the left foot, went for the big shot at goal, and was cut off there by Serene Watson. Great balk there. But Serene Watson now has to get this ball into the hands of another maroon jumper. She goes across the face of goal, has a bounce or two. Now chips it over the back. Nobody there. Well towed forward there. There's good stuff there by Hammonds. Regathers. Gets the kick towards the wing. And that was a great contest there from Daisy Darcy. Won the ball and then peeled back into the corridor. Vic Country have the numbers again though. And they're attacking the body. Gee, they're very brutal when it comes to the contest, the Vic Country side. They're going to burst through the corridor. Long kick inside 50. The numbers are there. Can they control it? Maloney can't. Gets back on hands and knees. The handball off to her teammate in Smith. Now Solitis, the goal scorer. She turns it over. Queensland through Postlethwaite under enormous pressure. Gives it back to Wap Farah,
who's still under pressure. Does a dance well to get around traffic and puts it into the hands of Watson. Still inside defensive 50, broadcast side. Called to play on now, so she's going to have to pop it up, down along the line. High ball, great contest. Hampson takes the mark, plays on. Kick smothered. Vic Country with possession. Karras dishes the handball off. Shepherd puts it inside 50 for Vic Country. Postlethwaite. No, that's not Postlethwaite. That's Watson at the back. Vic Country at half forward. Karras, high ball inside 50 again for Vic Country. They're doing all the attacking at the moment. Ball off hands. Maloney gets through traffic, gives it to Barber. Centering ball. Will only find Postlethwaite running to the outer side. Plenty of space out there for Hammonds.
Well, she puts it out in front of Hammonds. Hammonds drops what she might have taken. Now under pressure. She's tackled. That's holding the ball. Great tackling effort there from Vic Country. It was Gardner, chips it towards the pocket and it's punched away. Good stuff there. That's the way. You're not... that puts the doubt in the mind of the player as well. Next time they're going to try and burn you off if you put that pace on and just hold them up. Really good effort from the Vic Country girls.
And that's a great way of summarising the first half of Vic Country.
Oh, absolutely. The Queenslanders with a shot, but they've just smothered every opportunity that Queensland have got. So Wap Farah goes in trying to get the ball out. It's towed forward for Vic Country. It's going towards the goal square. Barber gets rid of her opponent and kicks a third. What a ripper. Olivia Barber. She's the tallest person in that contest, but she held her feet. Great use of the body and a nice finish.
Yeah, brilliant finish. Her third goal in the half. As we tick down towards half-time here at Metricon Stadium, she's been dangerous forward, not only with the ability of creating the marking contest, but at ground level as well. Brilliant goal there from Barber. And that ball was towed forward there from Salidas too, who's been the other one that's been really dangerous inside 50.
They do look dangerous with their skill sets. They're very much using the ball well, given the conditions.
And will they get one final chance in this first half? Karras lost control of it, but they'll clear, but also run out of time in the hands of Molly McDonald. So half-time here at Metricon Stadium, the first game for big week of action for the 2019 NAB AFLW Under 18 Championships. It's 4-4-28 Vic Country. Queensland just the minus score on the board from the first half, but the scoreboard doesn't really reflect the way the game's going.
No, look, I think Queensland especially fought back in that second quarter and had a few more inside 50s, couldn't quite polish it off. But I think across the board, Vic Country have provided strength at the contest, and as we said before, when they do win the ball in tight, they're breaking out into space. And their utilisation of the ball with the wet conditions, I think their skill level has just been superior to the Queenslanders.
Yeah, that's it. They just seem to be... Game sense probably isn't the right way of describing it, but they're just more aware of what's happening around them. They know where each other is. They know how to use each other better. Queensland, they're not panicking, but they're a little indecisive with how they're using the footy.
I think that's because of the pressure that Vic Country are putting on them as well, because they're being very hard at the player and at the coalface at the contest. So it could look like it's a bit of panic, but a lot of the decision making is being made under extreme pressure as well. So let's see how it goes for the second half. We'll be back with the second half of this round one match, Queensland versus Vic Country, very shortly, as we stream live the NAB AFLW Under 18 Championships from Carrara. Welcome back to Carrara for the NAB AFL Under 18 Championships. This is round 2. It is half-time in the game 1 of today. Vic Country, 4-4-28 to Queensland 1 behind. The Vic Country side with the 4 goals and 3 of them through the agency of Olivia Barber from the Burry Bushrangers, who kicked the first 2 of the game and then an absolute cracker late in that second quarter. And Renee Solitis is the other goal scorer. Michael Price and Matthew Cox calling all of your action. And Matthew, the Vic Country girls just did it really well in the first half.
Yeah, you'd be a happy coach in Astro O'Connor there, who would be very pleased, especially after their poor performance a couple of weeks ago against Vic Metro, to respond the way they have. It's been dominant so far. Queensland, they've had opportunities but haven't been able to capitalise on them, as we're underway for the second half here at Metricon Stadium. And we'll get another stoppage. Drizzle just cleared up during that half-time break. Hopefully we'll see some sunshine here today as Vic Country again get it to Smith, who's been prominent. High ball. Wap Farah goes in after it. Got a little bit of a shove. Queensland trying to use it by hand. Postlethwaite on her knees was able to give the handball off. Was searching for Hammonds, who continues desperately inside defensive 50. Maloney run down as she tried to get the quick away for Vic Country. Dangerous ball again. Queensland with numbers. Wap Farah, another player who's been prominent in the match so far inside defensive 50 for Queensland. It's a hot footy again out there at the moment. Hampson under pressure. Vic Country players everywhere. Brett, high kick on the boot. Oh, similar to how the first quarter started. Olivia Barber has taken the mark, point blank range.
Lining up for number 4. That's a fair start.
What a way to make a statement. She comes in. Not much breeze to speak of at the moment. Oh, she got very close to the player on the mark and pushes it wide. Minor score. For 6:30, Vic Country move to just the 1 behind for Queensland. Early stages, third term.
And she's a bottom ager as well. One of the younger as well, Olivia Barber, so not even eligible for the draft yet.
No.
Is that correct? So boy, oh boy, has she got a future. Long kick, and that was cut off very, very nicely there. Good work from Millie Brown. It's going to come back in. Drops a little bit short. Once again, Queensland cut it off, and they do that through Hayley Moore from the Coorparoo Footy Club. She's looking for Wap Farah there. Ball skids in front of her. All the time in the world. She's got class, this girl. She comes out of defensive 50 over the top of the pack. Vic Country with the numbers. There's Elise Vella. Gets the handball over there to Smith, Daisy Smith that is. She gets it back and hacks it forward. Once again, Queensland can cut it off. Wap Farah under a lot of pressure, gives it to Hampson. She's very strong. Breaks through 2 tackles. Now this is an aggressive kick. Comes through to Dawes. Can she control it? She does. Kicks it inside 50. It's going to be a foot race. Darcy needs to get there first for Queensland. Did well to get the body off. Has a ping with the left foot. Well done. First goal for Queensland, Daisy Darcy, the girl from Hermit Park in Townsville. A long way from home here at Carrara, gets the first goal for the Maroons.
Brilliant goal there. Great work. She didn't try and win the race. She used her body well to push her opponent off it and then just judged it. She's thought about centering it, had a couple of options in the corridor, but then thought, no, best choice, go for goal when you're in that position, and that's exactly what she did. Great reward.
Absolutely, and it all started from that really aggressive kick through the corridor. It came off, and that's the kind of risk I suppose they've got to take. They're coming from behind a fair bit here, Queensland, and they really need to move forward.
Can they get another one quickly and put a bit of pressure on Vic Country early in this third quarter? The handball comes the way of Notman in the middle, who lost control of it. Vic Country, though, with numbers. Zoski Hay goes forward. Just went past Solitas on that outer side. She's able to get the kick. It's a long roost of a kick inboard. Wap Farah got hands to it. Out the back, Barber. This time she settles, but again pushes it to the right-hand side. And another minor score for Vic Country. Are they keeping Queensland in the game with these behinds?
Yeah, well, I suppose they are to some degree. Olivia Barber now could have a bag full of 5, considering she's kicked a couple of behinds as well.
Just having a look down on the bench, Daisy Darcy's just come off. Her teammates wrapped her up in a big hug. Talk about the celebration on the bench.
Well, that's what I love about the women's game. The hearts on the sleeve as Maloney kicks forward for Vic Country. Juggling effort, not paid. Towed off the deck there. And that was from Isabella Simmons. She just was at the back of the pack there, a little obscured, but quick reflexes and towed it off the deck. And that was the goal that Vic Country really wanted, just to stamp their authority at the start of this third term.
Yeah, they do. Not a badly needed goal, but just one to knock the wind out of the sails of Queensland, who have come out in this third term with a bit of a spring in their step. And Vic Country just able to shut the door.
They seem to straighten up very well. When they go long, they've got the target obviously in Barber, but they get in the numbers around the play as well.
So back in the middle, Queensland through doors was able to get the handball away. Now McAvoy mopping up. They get it to Notman. And now a long kick inside 50 for Vic Country. Again, just misjudged the target. Floats out the back. Barber wrapped up, dumped. Umpire calling play on. Queensland through Levy in the back line. Gets it to Watson. Her kick not great. Target Notman was able to regather the footy and put it into the forward pocket. Queensland try and use it by hand. They're up against the boundary line, very close to it. Happy to see it over there is Watson. Will throw it in. Forward pocket, Narang River side of Metricon Stadium. Vic Country attacking.
And attacking again. They're just dominating the field position throughout this game. Currently leading it by 29 points. Queensland defence hacked the ball out through Moore. It's well taken there. Arwang on the left foot now. Kicks it into the middle of the ground. Dangerous kick. Favours Vic Country. Could have been one in the back there, but nothing happening at the back of the pack. Picked up there by Financier. Kicked inside 50. Oh, well done. Good mark. Brooke Vernon going back with the flight there. Took a very strong mark. Dangerous kick. Cut off there by Financier again. Kicked inside 50. Queensland with another opportunity, but the Vic Country defence, gee, they're a stingy mob. They don't want to give you anything. And the ball comes out through Millie Brown. Still under a bit of contest. Now they've turned it over. Having a red-hot crack and a great tackle. Good work there. That was from Daisy Smith. Great tackling effort there. Got the ball for Vic Country.
Smith applying the tackle on Smith. Bit of a mouthful. Or Queensland are going to come back in. Hampson, caught, dispossessed. Vic Country. Again, that just sums up the way the game's being played. Vic Country with momentum. Wat Farah coming through. 1-on-3 in the contest. She did well to hold things up on the centre wing and created an opportunity for White. Releases the handball to Hampson. Long ball inside 50 is good. Mark taken by Taylor Smith. 45-degree angle. Woman on the mark about 45 metres out.
You called it. Once again, Wat Farah just creates uncertainty in the minds of her opponents. She was 1-on-3, and that desperation just provided Queensland with this opportunity.
She wouldn't have got a stat for that, but just her presence around the footy created this opportunity for Queensland. Can they get their second goal? Smith loads up, going to fall short. Off hands, plenty of white jumpers around the footy to force it over the boundary line and out of play.
So it's fairly congested inside attacking 54, the Vic Country side now. Umpire's going to come in and throw it in the ruck. And you've got Taylor Smith for Queensland. And Maggie Karras for Vic Country. They both missed the ball at the back of the pack. Queensland with an opportunity, but Vic Country get there first. Oh, it's a hot footy, just hacked up in the air. McAvoy was the player involved there. The ball bounces kindly for Gardner. She gives it over. They should get out here. Ball's going to bounce in front of the running player in Lasowski Hay. She's worried off the ball. Queensland did well. Gardner came in and just said, while you're mucking around, I'm just going to come in and steal it off you. Kicked long down the wing. Well done by Brett, who just got a hand in. But once again, Wap Farah just beelines the ball.
Oh,
She hasn't got a lot of mates, though, but Vic Country get the ball again. Here comes Wap Farah, again causing that uncertainty. It's a really tight contest, really scrappy at the moment, but they're fighting tooth and nail to get the ascendancy in the middle of the field. Vic Country, they will come away with it again through Gardner and once again through Lasoski Hay.
goes forward with the kick. Queensland with numbers. Can they pick it up? Gather it? Not really. They'll go inside 50 here, Vic Country. Players falling over each other. There'll be a free kick going the way of, I think it's Salidas that has the ball in her hands. So again, just creating an option for Vic Country inside 50. It came in from Sophie Molan. And right spot, right time for Salidas.
And she is dangerous, and she's got some pace around. So that, again, that put doubt in the mind of the defender.
Yep, who panicked and gave away the free kick. Salidas comes in. Kick falls short in the goal square. Barber went up for it, was unable to bring it in. Ball rushed through for Queensland. So 5-7-37 Vic Country. Queensland 1-1-7 as it's hurriedly brought back into play.
Yeah, they've almost made a meal of that. Vic Country again through Shepherd. Underneath there, Paige Shepherd. Last one to come up with the pill, gives it to the umpire. Good physical contest from both sides here at Metricon Stadium. From that ruck, that was dragged back in. I think the umpire could ping you here. No, nothing happening. And once again, last person up with the ball is Dion Heslop for Queensland. Good handball there from Lasoski Hay. Comes out again through Karras. Queensland hassling them out of it, but they're still going through. Vic Country side now. Great tackling. The ball spills to Maloney. She hooks it around and kicks another for Vic Country. The Queenslanders were desperate in defence, but it just kept coming back to Vic Country. The white jumpers, irrepressible. And Darcy Maloney gets her first goal of the day and the sixth one for Vic Country. 6-7-43, plays 1-1-7. And we've played nearly 12 minutes of the third quarter.
Described as being versatile and having a great goal sense. We just saw that in spades. And again, that free player on the outside, Queensland hunting the footy. A little bit more like bees around a honeypot type of analogy. Vic Country spreading, and they've always got that player on the outside that they can dish it off to. And great positioning from Darcy Maloney from the Geelong Falcons, putting it through. Another middle-ager, only a 17-year-old, or in her 17-year-old season for Vic Country. So another year to go. And it's been impressive. On the outer side of Wang, gives the handball to Dawes. Under pressure comes inboard. Hampson, she slipped over but still took the mark. Centre wing on the outer side of the ground. High ball to the southern end is good. Smith gives the handball off to Daisy Darcy in the forward pocket, the only goal scorer so far for Queensland. Smith again with the ball in her possession, releases it to no advantage. Vic Country try and get it to Shepherd. Just lost control of it. Queensland had a opportunity momentarily. Good tackle laid on by Daisy Smith for Vic Country. There's a few Smiths out there running around for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. Got about three or four in there. It's a reasonably common surname as the ball gets balled up. Here we go, the Vic Country side fighting tooth and nail. It's Karras who got it out. Spills into the hands of Queensland. It's kicked forward now. They've got another chance again. Here's Daisy Darcy, picks it up and has another go from 30. It bounces and it bounces beautifully. So now, sorry if I got that play wrong there. I have. It was Farquharson who did beautifully. Just picked it up and hooked it around. It didn't look like she was ever going to miss them.
No. Knew exactly where she needed to kick it. And gets Queensland's second goal
Well, when they do have that little bit of space and are allowed to use the pace in their forward line, that's when they look particularly dangerous.
I just haven't been able to generate that enough. That's been the issue.
They haven't been allowed to generate that. The Vic Country girls, again, locking them down.
And we're going to get a warning here the way of Vic Country for the 6x6x6.
Oh, that's one apiece today.
So ball up in the middle. Queensland put it straight down the throat of Lazowski-Hay. He puts it towards the outer side, juggling it Watson under pressure. Has to lay on the tackle in the end to cause the stoppage. We'll get a ball up. It just seems to have cleared up weather-wise here on the Gold Coast. As Vic Country try to emerge with it. Was there a bit of holding there on Molan? The umpire said no. The siren sounds for three-quarter time. A better effort for Queensland. They got some reward for effort in that term. 2-1-13. They trail Vic Country, though, 6-7-43. Vic Country just the more superior side in the first three quarters of the match here at Metricon Stadium. Round 2 of the NAB AFLW Under 18 Championships for 2019. Big day of action coming up as well. From 1 o'clock this afternoon, we have Vic Metro taking on Western Australia, and then the final game to round out proceedings here at Metricon Stadium, we have the Central Allies taking on the Eastern Allies. That's all coming your way live.
It's going to be a very interesting game, a couple of games of football. It's been a great day as we have the local Tiger Moths going around Carrara. There's a bit of a joy flight sort of arrangement, not too far away here. But we see both sets of players coming towards the huddle. The Queenslanders still upbeat. Of course, Victoria Country, they are right where they would want to be. They actually extended their lead to take it from 27 points. They led by 13 at quarter time, 27 at half time, now 30 points at three-quarter time. So they can't complain about the progression forward. Queensland trying really hard, but once again, I think the Victoria Country girls a little stronger, a little bit cleaner in and around the stoppages as well. And when they do break forward, they seem to have a definitive target in Barber, and they get the numbers in and around that contest as well. Queensland are more scrappy going in forward, so creating some chances, but not clean chances.
No, more chaotic. And as we see, the best chances that they've had to score is when it is that chaos footy, when the Vic Country defenders are a little unsure about where to go, who to stop. That just seems to be when they've generated their opportunities. Geez, Wat Farah, though, hasn't she been impressive? I know she signed with the Gold Coast, but she's just the presence that she creates around the footy, and then her disposal with ball in hand. It's going to be exciting to watch when it is dry. Okay, we're getting there today.
Yeah.
It's not as wet as what it was earlier, but on a dry day, could you imagine her using not only her pace, her pressure, but her skill to execute coming out of defensive 50 for the Gold Coast?
Absolutely. She would be dominant. And what she does, she puts the uncertainty in the mind of the opposition. She beelines the ball. She's a very solidly built girl. She can pick the ball up in and around the ankles. She's got great skills. But, boy, the Gold Coast fans of the upcoming AFLW for the new season and the new team, they must be salivating seeing that she's already signed up. That's a pretty handy addition to your defence. But also Ellie Hampson, who I think has been absolutely brilliant today. Really solid player, but good skills and very well balanced. She's already pre-signed to the Gold Coast, as well as Charlotte Hammonds, who's been quite useful as well from Bond University. So they've got themselves three very good pre-signed players from Queensland, and again, it's going to build that local rivalry between the Gold Coast and Brisbane even further when we're able to clash in the AFLW stakes.
Yeah, it will make things very, very interesting. But geez, as you pointed out, I think Hampson has definitely been up there as one of the best for Queensland as well. Hasn't tried to do anything too flashy. She's just done the right thing. She's positioned herself well, used the ball as well as what she could have. and has been very impressive. On the other side of the equation for Vic Country, Tiana Smith, she's got a lot of the ball and she's using it well. Again, not really like a standout, but just doing the good, solid things, and has been consistent right throughout the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's a bottom major as well. So she's born in 02. Only 167 centimetres, so she's quite diminutive. But when she goes, and she gets the ball. I've also been really particularly impressed with the work in and around the stoppages of Darcy Maloney from the Geelong Falcons. Again, solid, really well balanced, and is using the ball. And when you've got other players in front of you, like your Renee Solitis or your Lasowski Hay, and then, of course, you just add Olivia Barber into the mixed up forward. They've had some brilliant players. Their defence has been so stingy across the board. It's been a great team defence led by Millie Brown, but they won't allow Queensland any inches at all.
And Millie Brown, she was one of the best players on the park for Vic Country a couple of weeks ago. It's the Vic Country girls getting up and about down there, even though they've got a handy margin. They're not prepared to give away the 30-point lead. But Millie Brown, yeah, solid in defence. You know what you're going to expect from her. She's almost that general role in being able to structure it up. But as you said, it's been real team to be able to shut things down. Lucy McAvoy's another player that's got a lot of the footy. And interesting connection, she's the cousin of Ben McAvoy.
Oh, so she's the cousin of Ben McAvoy? Okay. All-Australian last year as well. But she's been all around. She's pretty versatile. So she started off in defence, went All-Australian as a forward last year, and now this year she's playing as a mid. So she's certainly working out where she can play. But Millie Brown, as you mentioned too, a possible father-daughter. Her father, Paul, played for Geelong as well. And so she's a possible father-daughter selection.
And both were skippers of their under-18 side, so there's a bit of leadership there.
Gee whiz, they produce them well in that area. The old Geelong Falcons and Murray, they're doing it beautifully. Anyway, we'll get on with the last quarter. Michael Price calling all of the action with Matthew Cox.
We're underway. Queensland get first use of it. Dawes was unable to trap it in, but kept pressuring the ball forward. Just gives off an awkward handball. Lane on there for Vic Country took possession. McAvoy, we were just talking about her, just coughed it up. Whack Farah, can she escape the tackle? No, she can't. Vic Country will go inside attacking 50. Long ball, going to land in the heart of it and on the chest of Barber. 3 goals today. Gets up a little ginger after landing awkwardly, but again, just her presence inside 50, her contested marking today has been superb.
She gets her body in the right position, doesn't she?
And then she's able to use it at ground level as well. Can she kick her fourth? She's had a couple of opportunities in the third term. This time she doesn't make a mistake, and she's pretty happy about it. 4 goals to Olivia Barber. And Vic Country are running away with it. 7-7-49 to Queensland 2-1-13.
She's an awesome target up forward. Absolutely. Now, we've mentioned her before. She's 182 centimetres, so she's got a fair bit of height about her. But she is a bottom major, so she's got another year ago till she's drafted. So when she grows up, it's going to be awesome. Well done, Olivia Barber. 4 goals, could have already had a bag. Kicked 4 goals too, and I believe 1 out in the fall as well. So we're back into the middle. What can the Queenslanders do to respond to that? Vic Country come out again. Wang through Queensland. Handball back to Postlethwaite. Hooks the ball around, but it was well read there. Too easy for Shannara Notman. She chips it forward. A little bit too short. Gives Queensland an option. Postlethwaite puts herself in. It's picked up there by Tarleton. She loses it now, tackling into the ground. They're not giving an inch, the Vic Country girls. And so on the logo on the outer side, as Gregory gives the ball back to the umpire, we'll have another ball up. The ruckman will go at it again. Well rove there. Good stuff there from Molan. Got the ball out. Once again, it's kicked inside 50 for Vic Country. Well read, but not dragged in by Levi. Just ball hits the deck. Vic Country with a chance. Umpire was looking at that very closely to see if it was going to be called in for holding the ball, but it'll be a ball up.
Deep inside 50 again for Vic Country. Postlethwaite couldn't take it. Watson, though, did for Queensland. Gets a kick towards Muir under pressure. Tried to toe poke it in front of herself, but coughed it up to Gardner, who has a heap of support. She gets the ball back to Gardner, puts it inside 50, cut off by Watson, though, for Queensland, who's been solid for Queensland today. She goes in the direction of Dawes, had it knocked out of her hands over the boundary line and out of play from Shannara Notman.
Yeah, she's actually bobbed up several times. Shannara Notman from the Gippsland Power. She's attacks the ball very hard, 178 centimetres, so she's got some size about her as well. But she attacks the ball very hard. Speaking of size, she's actually doubling up in the ruck, so she's going to tap it down. It was intercepted by Postlethwaite for Queensland. That's an assertive kick into the corridor. Will Wang get it? It bounces kindly for her. She controls it in front of her. Well hassled off by Molly McDonald, though. Caused the problem. Now coming through for Queensland, it was Ella. Stopped and hacked forward for Vic Country. Went through the hands of Ella Wood. They'll get it out of here, though, through the corridor. Shannon propelled it forward. It bounces at right angles, and really well done by McAvoy to get the handball back in to around the centre-half back area, centre forward area for Victoria. Now picking it up, and ding, tackle was Notman. Very lucky not to be pinged for holding the ball. Queensland desperately holding on as Vic Country just keeps surging forward. Last chance saloon here for Queensland. There was 1 on 3. Really good diving in there. That was Paige Shepherd. She just blocked it off. Ball stuck underneath her, though, and we'll get another ball up. And that was just it was like trench warfare, just ball going metre by metre by metre.
Just really grinding it out. Vic Country just pressuring the ball forward at all costs. Karras gives the handball to Shepherd, got caught high. And she's in a bit of trouble here, Paige Shepherd.
That was a pretty hefty tackle from Ellie Hampson.
Really got her around the neck.
I don't think it was malicious.
No, it was just heavy.
Just heavy and probably a little bit careless.
So she's just in the hands of the trainers here at the moment, Paige Shepherd. A few interchanges occur as well.
Just see there, we'll just keep an eye on her. Yeah, that's well done. So she's coming off. And Vic Country will get the free kick, and that's going to be Ella Wood.
Doesn't look in too much discomfort, which is the positive for Vic Country. So they're inside 50 here. McAvoy pops it into the pocket. Barber presented, but couldn't get control of it. Just hacking the kick away there is Moore. It's a dangerous area here for Queensland, but they had numbers. Daisy Darcy inside defensive 50. Puts it up in the Tarleton direction. She couldn't get control of it. Levy back there. Puts it back inside defensive 50 for Queensland. They're under all sorts of pressure. McAvoy was hunting it. Postlethwaite navigating traffic. Did well to get it to Dawes. Hurry kick. It was a hoping kick outside defensive 50 for Queensland, and it might come straight back in. Daisy Smith gives the handball off for Vic Country. They've coughed it up. And Queensland, well, they've coughed it up. Geez, the turnovers are plenty at the moment in the middle. There's another one. Watt Farah, centre half back, puts it into a bit of space for a Wang to run onto it. Again, just paddling the ball in front of herself. She can't take it cleanly now. She's under pressure, and she was able to gather it. Great passage of play there from Wang. Just kept the ball in front of herself, but unfortunately she's turned it over.
And here, it's coming back, though. Well, umpire blew the whistle just a little prematurely and called the mark, and there was a late bump from Ellie Wood, and it's going to be a free kick down the field. Farquharson has scored the last goal for Queensland. It's come off the side of the shoe, but it still will work out. Hickey picks it up, gives it over the top to White. White now. Postlethwaite lowers the eyes. Good pass. That was probably one of the more promising build-ups for Queensland as they took it across and changed the angle and gave the forwards some space to lead into, and the mark's been taken there by Taylor Smith.
Great kick too from Postlethwaite. Perfectly balanced, perfectly weighted.
Not a lot a defender can do when it's put in front in the path like that. So Taylor Smith, Bond University player, top ager as well, comes in with the left foot, hooks it a little, but it falls in for Queensland. They get their third goal. 7-7-49 Vic Country, 3-1-19 to Queensland. Back to that 30-point margin with 8 minutes gone of the final quarter.
Just disappointing they haven't been able to do that more often, Queensland. That was a great build-up. They worked it across the half-forward line, got it in the hands of Postlethwaite, who was able to get the kick into Smith on the lead. And it was one of their more structured pieces of play today, Queensland. They've just been under pressure. Vic Country have played incredibly well, particularly after they came away from the Vic Metro game, virtually having it the opposite way around. They were on the receiving end of plenty of pressure to be able to respond the way they have today. Queensland, though, getting something to come away from the game. They've got 2 more later in the week on Wednesday and Friday. All matches live during this 2019 AFLW Under 18 Championships as McAvoy pops it just inside 50. Brett was searching there for Notman. Couldn't lay claim to it. Hammonds gets the clearing kick. Out to Daisy Darcy, playing a more defensive role in this quarter. Goes inboard with the kick and it's good. Dawes takes it. Sold the candy beautifully, did Dawes, and then was a little ambitious with the bounce given the slippery conditions here at Metricon. High ball in the Farquharson direction. Couldn't take the mark. Off hands Vic Country. Able to get some clean air. Coming late, Muir to cause the stoppage. Ball dribbles out. Here's Dawes again. Puts it back inside, attacking 50 for Queensland. Tackles are laid on. Vic Country get the clearing kick. A bouncing ball towards the outer side. It favours them. And Shannon's able to get the kick towards centre half forward.
Oh, reading it well and getting in front of her opponent. Could have been paid the mark. She had juggled it enough, was Watson, but nothing doing. In fact, it ends up being a free kick to Vic Country for the good tackle, realising nobody was really manning the mark. She took off, did Tiana Smith. Ball to the back of the square. Under a bit of pressure, the ball slapped forward. It goes over the boundary line. Umpire says we'll throw it in the right forward pocket. But again, the game sort of got a little closer as it progresses, but Vic Country just really, well, they've been the stronger side all throughout the day so far, but Queensland making a better fist of it in the second half. So we'll see how we go with the rest of it here. Karras through hands, Wap Farah, stoic in defence. Gets rid of her opponent, beelines the ball again, leaves it behind, picked up there by McAvoy. McAvoy in traffic, how about that? Just pick it up and have a ping from 20, no problem. 8th goal for Vic Country, 8-7-55, plays Queensland 3-1-19, and that is a game high 36-point margin.
I'm not sure whether it's the angle that we're on, but and I'd love to see a replay of that goal, but I've got a feeling she kicked it, her leg was going around her opponent to get boot to ball. How that went through,
I have no idea how that went through. I had the binoculars on her feet as she was kicking it, and it was extraordinary that it went through that much traffic.
Capitalising on their opportunities. That's what Vic Country have done all game today, and it's why they've got such a dominant position. Late stages, final term, first game of round 2 in the NAB AFLW Under 18 Championships. They're going to get the ball back in their possession here. Molan, well, she's coughed it up. Queensland take the mark. Centre wing, outer side. Heslop goes inboard with a kick. Notman did well to force the ball to ground. At half back, it's a centering ball, searching for McDonald. Has to lay on the tackle over the top of Gregory. Ball comes the way of Vic Country, streaming through the corridor. Long ball, going to land inside 50. McAvoy is hovering, lurking. Will collect the ball here. Gives the handball off quickly to Maloney. Gives it back to McAvoy, 45 metres out. High ball. It's Queensland, though, sitting underneath it, taking the mark there, Tani White.
So Tani White, last line of defence for Queensland. Goes wide to the outer side, the half-back. It was a good contest there from Hickey. Ball brought down. Once again, McAvoy, left foot pocket, and it falls nicely. Playing in front, no, but not taking the mark. Ball stuck underneath. It was Salidis who got the front position, but dropped the mark, went under pressure, and it's going to be a ball up in the pocket. That's another stoppage opportunity for Vic Country. They've been very good in that regard. Notman takes it out of the ruck. Handball off to McAvoy, who kicks another. There you go.
That one was a little easier for her, though.
That was a little bit of training drill stuff. It just didn't happen for Queensland in the ruck. Notman did beautifully, realising she was more or less by herself, grabbed it, handball off to the dangerous McAvoy, who's kicked her second in a couple of minutes. So what is it, 9-7-61, playing 3-1-19. We're out to a 42-point margin, and that's probably around about says where the difference is between Vic Country and Queensland today.
Yeah, it's just the execution coming to the fore. Queensland have been in the contest, but when it comes to the scoreboard, Vic Country have been dominant. Ball bobbles around in the middle of again. Oh, great work there to shrug the tackle off. Got a feeling that was Heslop. Vic Country go forward once more. Bobbling ball at half forward. Brett. Oh, she nearly had it again. McAvoy goes back in after it, gives the handball. They were searching for Simmons, stolen by Hammonds. Streams out a defensive 50. They've got numbers here, Queensland. Awang, one of them, just slipped over at the crucial moment. Hammonds kept running, soccers it off the carpet, straight into the hands of Vic Country. Ball, it comes inboard. McDonald from 50 out. Long ball offline. We'll dribble over and out of play. We'll throw it in deep inside, attacking 50 again for Vic Country as the time is about to expire in this first match of round 2 here on the Gold Coast. Vic Country incredibly dominant. 9-7-61. They defeat Queensland 3-1-19.
Yeah, that's 42 points. That's after they led by 13 at quarter time, 27 at half time, and 30 at three-quarter time. So just increase that lead at every stanza. Queensland, look, they didn't turn it up. They had a red-hot crack, and they did, especially in the third and fourth quarters, getting basically most of the bulk of their scoring happening then, or the 3 goals outside of the one behind, which happened in the first quarter. But Vic Country just too strong, too good. The use of the ball just a little bit too clinical for the Queenslanders today.
They were desperate. They were hard around the contest. They just had numbers everywhere on the park. Great game from Olivia Barber, provided presence up forward for Vic Country, kicking 4 goals today. Probably could have had 6 the way she was going. Up forward, really dominant there. Also inside 50, particularly in that last quarter, Lucy McAvoy played higher up the ground earlier in the day. Deep inside 50 in that term, kicking 2 goals. A goal to Renee Salidis, who was prominent up forward, created presence. Probably could have had 3 goals herself. Darcy Maloney kicked 1. And Isabella Simmons also kicked 1, but was another player that was generating activity inside, attacking 50. And
the defence of the Vic Country side, we said it before, they're stingy. They didn't want to give anything to the Queenslanders, and they were led by Millie Brown at fullback as well. And some really good running off half-back, which really turned any Queensland attack into an opportunity for Vic Country to score in the end. They did it beautifully. For the Queenslanders, I thought, again, Hampson tried hard. Postlethwaite had a crack. They all let it go, but Wap Farah, for mine, was the best Queensland player. In defence, she had a lot of stuff to do in defence. She was under constant pressure, but for mine, she was the better player for Queensland, where there was a handful of really good players for Vic Country. So a really good performance for the Vic Country girls, and we can hear them.
They've been very vocal.
They're celebrating out in Metricon Stadium, and why wouldn't they be? They provided a really good game of footy. 9 goals, 7-61 to 3 goals, 1-19. And we might come back have a little bit of a break and come back very shortly with game 2, which will